Welcome to the new YouTube channel. If you haven't already done it, hit the subscribe button to follow us all season long for updates and content. So happy that you're here. It's going to be a great year. Welcome back to the Richard Sherman podcast. Mitchell, what a thrilling game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. A game of inches. Mitchell, if he was a half a size shoe smaller, they would have tied that game up.
They call it a game of inches for a reason, Rich. This is the Richard Sherman podcast, late night edition. Richard, we're starting this right after the end of a Thursday night football. It's awesome to have football back. This game started off quick. Offenses were gunning, and it ended in dramatic fashion down the stretch. It looks like a star is born in Baltimore with Isaiah Likely. But Richard, what is the story of this game? Is it Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes, or is it Lamar Jackson faltering in the clutch?
Well, it was the roller coaster of emotions, I'm sure, for Baltimore fans, because you have the unlikely Lamar, they miss on the play. Looks like Likely's hurt. I mean, for a few moments there, everybody's like, oh, man, is the season over? Is it a shoulder injury? Did he dislocate his shoulder? Then all of a sudden, he misses Zay Flowers on the dig route, or the ram route, as we call it. I kind of thought that was game. Then he gets Likely in the back of the end zone, it appears, but it didn't come to be, Mitchell. But it was those two first throws. The one to Likely in the corner, he's got to have that. The one to Flowers, you got to have that. And he had been playing really well. He had just hit a nice pass down the sideline to Bateman, I think it was. And so I thought, hey, this was Lamar's moment. First game against Patty. You know, they had a chance. They definitely had a chance. He ran the heck out of the football. Derrick Henry did what Derrick Henry has done. He didn't have the most yards, only had 46 yards, but looked powerful. Every 4th and 1 situation looked like a gimme now with Derrick Henry. Lamar was running the ball a lot more, 122 rushing yards. Now he's third all time, right behind Cam Newton. But Patrick Mahomes and his new weapon, Xavier Worthy, you can't just keep giving him weapons. The Chiefs only had 4 touchdowns of 20-plus yards last year. Mitchell, Worthy had 2 today. He's going to be a problem. And that was another thing for the Baltimore defense. I would say Zach Orr did a pretty solid job. Zach Orr, for your first name coordinator, you got a lot of talent. You had guys in the spot, a lot of pressure on Patty Mahomes all day. That, I couldn't tell if it was Humphrey's blunder or the safety's blunder. I'm going to need the all 22, but that was a huge play in the ball game, because that made it a 10-point ball game in the middle of the game. And I don't even think they were going to go score. I think Baltimore's defense was starting to get a rhythm. I don't think it would have been as easy of a score for Kansas City without that play. But Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He does not miss layups. He does not. He moved around. It got chippy at the end. A few late, hits out of bounds. I think Marcus Williams slid and tried to tackle him when he was near the sideline. Roquan had one. This is developing into a little rivalry.
It sure is. I mean, for those that thought the Kansas City Chiefs would have a Super Bowl hangover, they just got right back out the saddle and kept going, Rich. This continues onward and upward. What is going to possibly stop the Kansas City Chiefs? Because frankly, as you touched on, they look better than last year with the addition of Xavier Worthy. And let's not forget, they got Hollywood Brown, too. I mean, these are 2 speed demons on the outside. If they can get Travis Kelce going, which they will, and pound the rock with Isaiah Pacheco, this team looks like the Kansas City Chiefs we thought they would be the last several years again.
Yeah, it's scary because when Patrick Mahomes had Tyreek Hill, he was young, Mitchell. He was young. He was inexperienced. You might be able to get him. You might be able to trick him every now and then. You might be able to get him to hold the ball. But now he got Xavier Worthy, and he's a whole different quarterback. His poise, his understanding, his processing, his feel. I mean, his feel's always been great, but it's getting ridiculous. He played solid. Baltimore some areas of concern for both teams are those offensive lines, and maybe it's just first game jitters. Everybody's getting them out, but Baltimore's offensive line looks shaky. Kansas City is trotting a rook out there. It's going to be an adjustment. It's going to be adjustment for both teams, and I'm interested because these were two of the best defenses in national football last year. Obviously, Baltimore was number one scoring defense, and Kansas City's defense played incredible. I think they held every team under 16, or they had a 16-point average in the playoffs. But I think that's going to be an Achilles heel to watch out for both of these teams. Those offensive lines, maybe they'll look better in game 2 and game 3. But I saw small chinks in the armor with those. But the secondaries looked really good outside of the brain fart or coverage bust from Baltimore. I thought both teams' secondary played really well. Um, and these are going to be again two of the top teams. Both of them are in my Power Five, top five power rankings, and I don't think they leave. I don't think I'm not going to hold this against Baltimore like they're not one of the top 5 teams in the NFL because they lost to the team I got as number 1 team in the NFL. Mitchell, you don't. It's like an SEC game, Mitchell. I don't move them off the spot. It's the SEC rankings. The SEC teams. You lose to Bama, it's almost like you didn't lose.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. It's tough to go into Arrowhead on opening night of the NFL season and knock the defending champs off. It's something only my Detroit Lions were able to do last year, though, Richard. So let's not look too far past that,
Okay.
my friend. Let's not look
Okay.
too far past that. Where do we go from here for the Baltimore Ravens? Obviously, there's some things to clean up. Mark Andrews, is this a point of concern for them, or like we touched on at the beginning, is a star born in Isaiah Likely, because Isaiah Likely looks like he is Lamar Jackson's go-to target going forward here.
Well, you just got to understand, Mark Andrews coming off a major injury. It's going to take some time. He's going to take some time to work back in. Isaiah Likely has been getting more reps, getting better, improving, developing in a big way, is getting a bigger an increased role. They don't have a ton outside of right now. I think it's Zay Flowers, then it's Isaiah Likely, then it's Derrick Henry, and then it's Mark Andrews. So, maybe I think it's week to week. Maybe one week Mark Andrews is the hot target. One week Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers started this game pretty hot. Then he started talking spicy to McDuffie, and I didn't hear nothing from him the rest of the game. And he got up on like a little out route talking to McDuffie, acting like, hey, you're about to have a long day, and it was over with. And McDuffie made an incredible play in this game, Mitchell. I got to go back and look at the all 22, but it was such a heads up, heady play, fast processing play by McDuffie on a 4th and 1, where it looked like Baltimore was trying to hide Zay Flowers in the backfield, which confused the safeties responsibilities because it looked like they were in some kind of man coverage and they were trying to find their man. And then he realized, hey, that's not a fullback in the backfield. We counted him as a fullback. That's a receiver, which means my corner is on one of the tight ends. He's on my man. I'm on his man. And Justin Reed tried to run over at the snap of the ball. Lo and behold, Trent McDuffie says, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I got it handled. He played it, and I'd have to ask him because I'm just going off of what it looked like because I'm not in his head. But it looked like in a play like that, 4th and 1 as a corner, you're in man. When your receiver goes down to crack, Mitchell, he goes down to block the safety. You call it crack block. You have to crack replace. So you have to like give him some space and then get your width back and start to get ready to make a tackle for either a loss or a no gain on a 4th and 1. So you got to trigger pretty fast. And that's what it looked like. He kind of felt like it was a crack replace, got his eyes in the backfield, recognized Zay Flowers out to the flat, triggered immediately, playing fast, trusting his instincts. That was an incredible play. And that was one of the plays, plays in a game that's probably going to be overshadowed throughout the game, but that was an incredible play. This is huge for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Baltimore is going to be fine. I think they get back on track next week. They come back, huddle up. They played good. They played good. They just didn't play better than the Kansas City Chiefs today. But it wasn't like they just played sloppy or it was an ugly game. There were a lot of illegal formation penalties that a lot of people are questioning because you look on one side and you're looking at the tackle, looks like he could be a tight end that's sliding and motioning. And then the other side, there it doesn't look like that, and they're calling a flag for illegal formation. That was, I don't know, refs. It's football season, and you can now get almost anything you need delivered by Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a running back delivered, but you can get baby back ribs delivered. A strong defense? That's a no. But a strong deodorant? That's a yes. A six-pack of abs? Definitely no. But a six-pack of beers? Uber Eats can get you that. There you have it. You can get almost anything for game day delivered with Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details. Football season is here, and Game Time has you covered. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your team play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Sherman for $20 off. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use the redeem code SHERMAN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
That was suspect. I mean, talk about, I don't know if the NFL wanted the season to start like that, where you're throwing flags on every other play. And to your point, Richard, I'm pretty sure that rule was implemented because of the Kansas City Chiefs left tackle, Jawan Taylor, for being widely known in this league for doing that for years. You go on Twitter, you go on Instagram, you'll see it everywhere. Exactly what you're talking about, Richard. The rule did not seem to be applied to both teams, so I'm sure fan bases are going to be up in arms about that. But Richard, for once, they make a rule that somewhat benefits the defense. I never thought this day would actually come in the NFL.
Mitchell, because it's not for us. It's still somehow benefiting the Kansas City Chiefs, even though the rules made to not benefit the Kansas City Chiefs in a game where they're featured. It's not called very much on their team, but called on the other team. Mitchell, you could not write this better if you tried. If you're a producer for the best show in America.
Richard, back to the Trent McDuffie conversation, though, because this is a guy right here that allows a team like the Kansas City Chiefs to just keep this Super Bowl window expanding and expanding and expanding. Let's not forget that this team, the Chiefs, lost L'Jarius Sneed this offseason, arguably one of the top 5-10 corners in this league, just plucked off their roster. It didn't look like it much mattered today. Trent McDuffie picked up. They got a 7th-round steal in the corner opposite him and Watson. This team in Kansas City is set up for success for years to come. I know Patrick Mahomes gives them the ultimate X factor and is always going to keep this team competitive. But when you can bring in bona fide stars like Chris Jones and now Trent McDuffie on the opposite side of the ball, the sky's the limit for this window of Super Bowl opportunity. Richard, do we want to close the conversation on this game and move ahead and let's forecast your Seattle Seahawks at home against the Denver Broncos?
This was a great game. I'm really, really looking forward to that Seattle game against the Denver Broncos for a number of reasons. I want to see what Bo Nix really is. What are the Denver Broncos going to look like without Jerry Jeudy? That'll be a big deal. What does that offensive line look like? They've been much maligned the last few years. Look like Mike McGlinchey's healthy. Look like they're all healthier. Will they run the ball and take some heat off the offense? Will Patrick Surtain continue to be the best corner in the National Football League? And then on the Seattle Seahawks side, this Mike McDonald defense, I want to see it. I mean, I've heard the whispers. I've seen the tape. I've heard him talk about it. It's supposed to be chaos, Mitchell. And for a rookie quarterback, CenturyLink is already CenturyLink. God, Lumen Field. I'm sorry, guys. I've never played on this field when it's called this. I've only played CenturyLink. But it's going to be a rock. Well, he played at Oregon. He played at Oregon, so you
Yeah.
got to give him credit there. He played at Oregon. He's come and played Washington, but he's never been in an environment like this on the opposing side. They're going to be hyped. It's a new staff, a new energy. These fans are going to feel renewed, like this is a chance for a Super Bowl, and they're going to be energetic. I think that Grubbs' offense is going to be really good. I think Geno is poised to have a really good year. Both the tackles are relatively healthy. They're going to start George Fant as Lucas continues to rehab. K9 is healthy. All three receivers that they're expecting big years from, Tyler Lockett, DK, and JSN, are all healthy. I'm looking forward to a really fun game in Lumen. I'm thinking about being there. I know the guy that's raising the flag that day. Um, it's going to be a really fun deal. And on the other side, you're going to get Monday night.
The hat change, the infamous hat change that our fan base loves,
They love
Richard.
it. They love it. The San Francisco 49ers, Mitchell, they are playing. Gotta get this down a little bit. They're playing the Jets, Jets, and I was a little concerned about this game. I thought this may be a trap game, first game of the season, if Trent Williams was not in the fold. But it's like Kanye said. Everybody wondered how the Niners would play if Trent Williams didn't show up. I guess we'll never know. I guess you'll never know. Because he showed up, and I'm sure that the New York Jets and my guy Robert Saleh were not happy to see that news. They would have been happy for him to hold out just 1 week. Just 1 week. But he didn't. I think he's going to come in shape and ready to roar. I think this offense is going to be fun to watch. Guys got paid. Brandon Ayuk is happy. Deebo Samuels is happy. Christian McCaffrey, little calf injury, Achilles. I'm not going to say anything else about it. Happy. The defense, Nicholas John Bosa, who we have not spoken a lot about. We have not spoken a lot about him. I think he's going to make a lot of noise, Mitchell. Talanoa Hufanga. I got to keep reading the articles to see if they're going to clear him to play this week. But it was trending in the right direction. Charvarius Ward, everybody knows all the names. My guy Fred Warner. It's going to be a fun year to watch them. It's going to be a fun year to watch the San Francisco 49ers. I think they pick up a big win against but I think Aaron goes out and has his best game against the 49ers that he's had in his career. He's going to be effective because he's so excited, Mitchell. It's nothing like taking the game that you love away from you for you to appreciate it. And they took it and they let him touch the field for 4 plays and then took it.
You know all too well. And Richard, having suffered the Achilles injury that you did, Aaron Rodgers also coming back from his Achilles injury. Like, what's going through his head? I mean, talk a little bit about your first game back from that injury. I know you're playing a more mobile position than the quarterback position, but what's going to be going through his head? What did you experience when you first came back?
Well, first off, he's not first back, Mitchell. He was dang near trying to play last year, which was a story we didn't. We let we started at the end of last season and then we just let it go. But that's still crazy.
That
So
is.
he's much further along than I ever was. And the quarterback isn't about mobility. He looked like his old self in the practice clips that you see. Everything he said, he feels like his old self. So he's had a lot more time and even a few practice reps in kind of a live game action feel situation. I think he feels good about it. I think he's going to be excited. I think he feels like he owes Garrett Wilson a great season, a Pro Bowl, All-Pro season, like he gave Devontae Adams. Not that Devontae's not an All-Pro, All-World receiver anyway, but Aaron has something to do with that, and I think he feels like losing that year last year, he has something that he owes to Garrett Wilson and these New York Jets fans, to Robert Saleh, to Joe Douglas, who believed in him and paid him and continue to believe in him. This defense that played their butt off all year, even though the quarterback situation was what it was. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun game on Monday night. I think that's going to be a really fun, competitive game. The Jets, seeing what Aaron's going to do in his first game back, primetime television. in San Francisco, well, San Jose, Santa Clara, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to be rocking. Lumen Field, I got to stop making these mistakes. Lumen Field's going to be rocking. Levi Stadium's going to be rocking. It's going to be a great weekend of football.
NFL Week 1 is here, and a new season means new ways to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Fans have spoken. We want to bet on touchdowns. DraftKings heard us and is delivering. DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like picking a player to score a touchdown. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $250 in bonus bets instantly, plus 1 month of NFL Plus Premium on us. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Richard. That's code Richard for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium on us. Offer ends September 19th. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. We got another big one Friday night, I guess tonight, if you live out on the East Coast. Richard, they're playing in Brazil, the Eagles against the Packers. Who do you like in this game? I mean, they're playing in Brazil, Rich.
They're playing in Brazil. Insane. Football is now international. The NFL is international. It's always been a dream of mine to play in the Olympics, Mitchell. It'll never happen. But hopefully in 100 years, our kids can play tackle football in the Olympics. That'd be really fun to watch. But it's great to see the fans of Brazil, South America, getting a chance to see NFL football up close and personal. That's going to be. There's games in Germany this year. There's games in the UK again. There's games in Mexico. Viva la Mexico. I'm just working on this, a little bit. But I think it's a hard game to call because there's so many unknowns. The way the Eagles ended last season, the way the Packers ended last season. We're in two different directions, Mitchell. Packers were to the moon. The Eagles looked like they were limping to the finish line. Right. And everything you've heard from training camp, Jalen Hurts looks as good as he's ever looked. AJ Brown got paid. He looks really good. You got Saquon now. The defense is renewed. Obviously, Bradbury's gone. Keely Ringo's there. We talked about C.J. Gardner-Johnson coming back. They got Devin White to shore up that linebacking core. The D-line has always been an incredible D-line, but obviously they lost Hassan Reddick to the Jets. He hasn't shown up yet. He wants to get paid. I'm not sure what's going on there. But then you got Green Bay, the relatively, again, young Bucks, the young pistol starters, the young quarterback who earned his money, $55 million, second highest paid in the National Football League, a receiving core, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, these guys making names for themselves. I think they're gonna do a really good job. They did it by committee last year. Reed, they did a really good job of just being able to execute. They spread the ball around. Jordan Love spread the ball around, and this defense has been really consistent over the years. Jair Alexander, still one of the top 5 cornerbacks in the National Football League. You got Preston Smith. They're going to get the pressure. I know Jeff Hafley is going to have them dialed in. They're going to dial up a lot of 3 pressures and see, but you can't leave these receivers one-on-one all day, Mitchell. You cannot. So
there's a lot of exciting storylines in this game, Richard. One of them that I'm truly most excited about is the running back battle. We got 2 veterans that come over from different teams. Josh Jacobs going to the Packers in the offseason, and Saquon Barkley, the big news of the offseason, going to division rival Eagles. Richard, what are your expectations of both of these guys? Let's start with Josh Jacobs. Many saw when Aaron Jones moved on, it was maybe a little bit of a lateral move. Do you think that Josh Jacobs is that much of an upgrade for the Packers? And what are your expectations of him this season?
Well, I expect him. He's always been productive, and he's going to continue to be productive. He's a really good running back in the National Football League. But I didn't think Aaron Jones was anything to snip to. You know what I mean? To sneeze at. Like he was a really
Right.
good back and played really good in the playoffs in their most productive run. He was productive in the playoff game against Dallas. He was productive. Playoff game against San Francisco. He was productive. So I didn't really understand the move to get rid of him or let him walk. But I think Josh Jacobs is a power back. He was one of the best backs in the National Football League a few years ago, and he's had his moments in a very tough situation in Las Vegas where he still looked dominant. So I think in a winning culture with a winning team, uh, I think Matt LaFleur is going to do a good job getting him in spots that he wants to be, creating lanes, this inside, outside, mid zone that they're going to run is it's going to be really good fit for him. But I think it's going to come down to the defenses and the secondaries. Obviously, Philly's secondary was much maligned last year. They went from top two, top three pass defense to bottom of the league somehow. And I don't know if it had more to do with the pass rush, injuries to the cornerback position, scheme. You know, they switched coordinators midway through the year. It was just so much chaos going on. So hopefully there's more stability this year. There's more consistency. There's more sound scheme. And they can be better because they have all the talent in the world. Darius Slay, our guy, friend of the program, um, still an incredible talent. Hopefully he's able to showcase that this year. I want to go with Philly winning this. That's what my I don't want to even say that's what my gut says. That's what the paper says. It's what
It
should
is.
happen. But Green Bay has just really just slapped me with in the face with humble pie too consistently. Huh. Too consistently, Mitchell. But they're young.
They're young.
Half.
I see you processing over there, Richard.
Mitchell, the Eagles are gonna win.
You know what, my friend? I disagree with you. I'm going to go against you on this game. I don't want you. I don't know what you want to put up for stakes, but I think, unfortunately for me, I think the NFC North Green Bay Packers are going to come out with the dub tomorrow. Richard, they've got too many young players, too many options, no true number one wide receiver, just a bunch of number twos. And then you bring in Josh Jacobs with their two young tight ends and a up and coming quarterback. I'm nervous about the Packers this year. I got them coming out victorious tomorrow, Rich. We shall see what happens. This
We can easily bet an acai bowl on this right
dude,
now,
how
Mitchell.
about this, Rich? You give me your Breitling watch when the Packers win. How about that?
Now that we're sponsored by Breitling, I do feel a little bit more liberal about how I move with things, Mitchell, but I cannot give up a gift brought to us by our new title sponsor, Breitling. I'm not going to do it, Mitchell. You can get an acai bowl and you're going to like it.
Fair enough. Richard, I will let you sign us off as we, do our first late night Richard Sherman podcast. Sign us off, my friend.
Yeah, my head sideways. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Again, hit that sub button if you're new. We're here to entertain. Drop any kind of feedback you want in the comments. Try to keep it positive. This has been a positive culture that we're trying to build on the Richard Sherman podcast. We'll see you on Sunday night.